Today is the last Sunday of my tenure as the Director of Religious Education at our church, First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, where I worked for 2 different time periods, serving almost 20 years. So it's a big transition, certainly for me. But also for the religious education program and the whole church. I look forward to our time this morning to share some of the lessons that I gained from being part of this community, either as the Director of Religious Education or as a member for over a 40-year period. And I appreciate the opportunity to stand in gratitude to this beloved community. And to this service of celebration and remembrance, we welcome all of you this morning, whether you are new or have been here for years, and whether you feel sad this morning for some reason or excited and full of joy, we welcome you here to be together, to share an hour of reflection, singing, ideas, and shared time. We're so glad you're here. Welcome.
Good morning. I invite you to open your hymnals to number 347, Gather the Spirit. Please rise in body or in spirit as we lift our voices in song.
This morning's call to worship was written by Robert French Levins. Holy and beautiful the custom which brings us together in the presence of the Most High, to face our ideals, to remember our loved ones in absence, to give thanks, to make confession, to offer forgiveness, to be enlightened, and to be strengthened. Through this quiet hour breathes the worship of ages, the cathedral music of history. 3 unseen guests attend: faith, hope, and love. Let all our hearts prepare them place.
Celebremos compartiendo nuestras vidas, encendiendo esta luz.
Would you please join me in reciting the Congregational Covenant? It's found in the order of service. Love is the spirit of our congregation. Service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to encourage one another. Thus do we covenant.
So this morning we made a purposeful error in the program, and we were conspiring for the past few weeks with dear Charlie Burris, Carol's husband. And Carol wrote a song called Blessed Be, and that's what we're singing with the string band this morning.
Well, speaking of blessings, we're going to give Carol a blessing on the occasion of her retirement.
I've got a Kleenex.
So, Carol, you first began serving as a religious educator for the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston in 1996. Since that time, for almost 2 decades, you have spent your working life with our congregation in 2 separate stints. You've encouraged hundreds of children as they've grown into adults. You've supported parents in the development of Unitarian Universalist family values. You've created space for adults to explore and deepen their spirituality. You've trained volunteers, inspired the congregation to deepen its commitment to ecological justice, shared your musical gifts, and provided pastoral care. You've done much more helping the congregation to weather storms, endure transitions, and move through a global pandemic. Today, we celebrate your retirement. Your work has blessed so many. In that spirit, we now come to bless you with an ancient rite of laying on of the hands, so that you may be blessed by many in return. This rite is meant to be a physical manifestation of the blessing that comes from all of us, this congregation, your family, your friends, on the occasion of your retirement. So I'm going to place my hand on your shoulder, and I invite everybody else who is gathered here to come forward and either place a hand on Carol or on someone connected with her. Please come forward at this time in silence so that we can share the sacredness of this moment. Yep. I invite the gathered community to envision love and blessings flowing through you to Carol as I say these words of blessing from John O'Donohue. This is where your life has arrived. After all the years of effort and toil, look back with graciousness and thanks on all your great and quiet achievements. You stand on the shore of a new invitation to open your life to what is left undone. Let your heart enjoy a different rhythm when drawn to the wonder of other horizons. Have the courage for a new approach to time. Allow it to slow down until you find freedom, to draw alongside the mystery you hold and befriend your own beauty of soul. Now is the time to enjoy your heart's desire, to live the dreams you've waited for, to awaken the depths beyond your work and enter into your infinite source. Many blessings upon you, Carol Burris, as you enter into this next phase of your life. May it be filled with much beauty, joy, celebration, and time for creativity, family, friends, and rest. Amen, and blessed be.
Thank you so much. What a moment. So at this time, this is our time for all ages. And before I start, I do want to let families who have young children know that this is the first Sunday that we do not have religious education at 9:30. This is our summer program. But there is wonderful nursery staff ready to take care of your children. And so if after this time you want to slip out, that's fine. You're also welcome to stay. So now I invite you to close your eyes for a moment and to imagine a teacher or a mentor you had who you appreciate, one who helped you in some way or you liked for some reason. Remember why you appreciated them and how you felt in their presence. And stay with that teacher for a moment. And now just have that teacher just a step aside to the left in your mind's eye to make room for another. And now I invite you to think of another teacher or mentor you've had. Maybe it was from very early in your life, or if you are older, then possibly any other time in your life, high school, graduate school, a neighbor. It might have been a friend who taught you something important. And remember why you appreciated them and how you felt in their presence. And now you have these two mentor teachers in your mind. And I'll bet that even though they share the quality of being meaningful to you, that they are different in many ways. I bet they offered you different gifts and had different personalities. Let's take a moment to appreciate both of these mentors and how they brought something important to your life. As I leave my position as your director of religious education and someone new comes into the church's life to play that role, you'll remember that our teachers, our leaders, do not need to have the same gifts. Each leader has different offerings, different talents and personalities, and they get things done in different ways. And I invite you now to stand in body or spirit. I invite you now to stand in body or spirit and look around you and make some space so you have room to move your arms. Now close your eyes again for a moment, and I invite you to put your hands on your heart and imagine yourself opening your heart. You are invited to open your heart to a new path in the next phase of the religious education life at First Unitarian Universalist Church. Perhaps you feel your heart opening a little bit more and then more. Now from your heart, open your arms forward or upward or out, whatever works for you. Feel your heart open more as you open your arms, and allowing yourself to be open to the future. Some things, of course, will stay the same. Lots of familiar faces in the volunteers. The same rituals are set up for next year. These are our foundations and our roots. But let us suggest this morning that our hearts are open to the new. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. And now I invite you to put your hands back over your heart, open your eyes, and when you are ready, return to sitting on the pew. And I end this time for all ages with this thought. We have held in our minds two mentors in our lives, each with their own gifts, each making a difference. And we know that change is part of life and that different ways of creating the future are possible and good. May it be so.
Sophia Lyon Fawes was an editor, author, teacher, and religious activist who led a revolution in Unitarian religious education. She wrote, "The religious way is the deep way, the way that sees what physical eyes alone fail to see, the intangibles of the heart of every phenomenon. The religious way is the way that touches universal relationships, that goes high, wide, and deep, that expands the feelings of kinship. This is the time when we quiet our minds and seek to go high, wide, and deep. A chance to touch universal relationships and expand our feelings of kinship. This is a time that some call meditation and others name prayer. Let your body settle into a comfortable place. Deeply inhale. Then slowly exhale as you continue mindful, rhythmic breathing. Open your mind, open your heart. God of many names and mystery beyond all our naming, we give thanks for all those who work to make this church a vibrant and vital place in the lives of others. Today, we lift up those who have been called to minister to our children and youth. In a difficult world of distraction and overwhelming choices, we give thanks for those who guide our next generation. May they teach them to think with both their minds and hearts, and to find a spiritual path that sustains them and leads them to become ever more thoughtful and kind. William Ellery Channing told us, "The great end in religious instruction is not to stamp our minds upon the young, but to stir up their own, not to make them see with our eyes, but to look inquiringly and steadily with their own. In a word, the great end is to awaken the soul, to excite and cherish spiritual life." We give thanks for all those who help to stir up the minds of our children and youth. May they understand the important and lingering role they play in these young lives. Grant them patience, understanding, creativity, and insight. May the young learn from the adults to be inquisitive, compassionate, and kind. And may the adults learn from the fresh perspectives and wisdom of the young. It is Pride Month, and the politics of cruelty are escalating. Days ago, both chambers of the Texas legislature passed a bill banning students from forming LGBTQ+ focused clubs like GSAs in schools. But this church is a place of acceptance. This is a place where young people are accepted no matter their sexual identity. This is a place where youth can bond with others who may also feel out of step at school. This is a place where those of any age who do not feel safe being themselves in other places may come and be welcomed for who they are. We give thanks that we are able to be that beacon of welcome and acceptance. We pray in the names of all those known and unknown, present and absent, remembered and forgotten. We pray in the names of all helpers of humankind. Amen. We pause now together to lift up that which sits heavy and light on our hearts. Please continue to hold Remington Alessi and his family in your hearts as he receives treatment in Dallas for his health challenges. We lost two preeminent scholars of the Hebrew Bible on Thursday. Tony Craven was Emerita Professor of Hebrew Bible at Bright Divinity School, my alma mater, where she taught for 32 years. And Walter Brueggemann was widely considered one of the most influential scholars of the last several decades and the most prolific Old Testament author of the last 7 decades. In the book which we place in the foyer for you to record your joys and concerns, I see that Ava Saunders is having mental health challenges. Marcellus Sampson is about to be incarcerated, and our hearts break for those citizens in Los Angeles who are standing up for others and are being having the authorities called on them to break up peaceful protests. I'll put it that way. We now turn to a practice inspired by African, indigenous, and pagan traditions. We say aloud or bring to mind those who we wish to be held by the loving embrace of this religious community. They are part of the great cloud of witness and memory, and we will, even if we do not know their names, hold them in our hearts. In this great cloud of witness and memory, amid this beloved community, we hear these names and hold them in our hearts. Let us remember the suffering and joy amid and among our community that we do not know. We now enter into a time of stillness. Deepak Chopra wrote, "Silence is the great teacher, and to learn its lessons, you must pay attention to it. There is no substitute for the creative inspiration, knowledge, and stability that come from knowing how to contact your core of inner silence." We now seek to embrace our inner silence. In the spirit of love, hope, and compassion, we enter into a time of silent prayer, meditation, and transformation.
In the quiet of this place, let this moment fill with grace. This is my prayer. This is my prayer. May the sense of mystery us through our journey. This is my prayer. This is my prayer. This is my prayer.
Our morning offering is shared each week with an organization that shares our Unitarian Universalist values and through which we may live out our principles in the world. Today, our shared offering will go to the Trans Legal Aid Clinic of Texas. The number of ways and number of bills Texas politicians have proposed to deny the dignity and rights of transgender people is horrifying in its scope. Trans Legal Aid Clinic of Texas is a nonprofit, volunteer-run organization. Trans Legal Aid offers free help for trans and non-binary Texans changing their names and/or gender on legal documents. Funds will directly help those trans and non-binary Texans obtain legal transition. Those in our sanctuary will find the instructions for text giving in the order of service next to the name of the shared offering recipient. And those watching the live stream will see the instructions on your screen. Our regular Sunday morning offering collection invites us to weave a tapestry of love and action. We ask you to give generously. An offering will now be gratefully received.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Please join with me to say the words to dedicate our offering found in your order of service. To the work of this church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives, and these are offerings.
Our first reading is an excerpt from Rest is Resistance, a manifesto by Tricia Hersey. People are waking up. People are waking up. People are waking up to the truth of their manipulation under toxic systems. People are waking up to heal. People are waking up to rest. We will no longer be a martyr for grind culture. Grind culture is a collaboration between white supremacy and capitalism. It views our divine bodies as machines. Our worth is not connected to how much we produce. Another way is possible. Our shared history is one of extreme disconnection and denial. We ignore our body's needs to rest, and in doing so, we lose touch with spirit. In our bodies, we have our temples. It is the only thing we own. Our bodies are a tool for change, a site of liberation. Our bodies know. The time to rest is now. Our collective rest will change the world because our rest resides in a spirit of refusal and disruption. Rest is our protest. Rest is resistance. Rest is reparations. I remain grateful for the mystery of the unknown, experimentation, and the constant demand for liberation, no matter what the systems have told us. Grateful for our divinity that we can tap into no matter what we are living through. Grateful for the metaphysical, the telepathic, and the deep knowing that our worth is not connected to how much labor we can withstand. This rest message is a message of power over oppression. Rest is a balm. We will rest. Here ends the first reading.
The second reading is an excerpt from Light Eaters: How the Unseen World of Plant Intelligence Offers a New Understanding of Life on Earth by Zoe Schlanger. Regardless of what we think of plants, they continue to surge upward toward the sun. In this ruined global moment, plants offer a window into a verdant way of thinking. For us to be truly part of this world, to be awake to its roiling aliveness, we need to understand plants. They suffuse our atmosphere with oxygen we breathe, and they quite literally build our bodies out of sugar they spin from sunlight. They made the ingredients that first allowed our lives to blink into existence at all. Yet they are not merely utilitarian supply machines. They have complex, dynamic lives of their own, social lives, sex lives, and a whole suite of subtle sensory appreciations we mostly assume to be only the domain of animals. What's more, they sense things that we cannot even imagine and occupy a world of information that we cannot see. Here ends the second reading.
And now I invite you to open your hymnals to number 108, My Life Flows On in Endless Song. Please rise and embody your spirit as we lift our voices together in song.
Through
In 1985, when I first came to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, it was when a colleague told me that there was a feminist group that met here. It was the Houston Women's Group that started in 1975 that just celebrated their 50th anniversary a couple of Sundays ago. In 1985, I came to a room stuffed with women of all ages, talking about the ways being a woman affected our lives, and hearing speakers who had new ideas about creating a great future that was fair and just for women. And then, before long, I also went downstairs afterwards to the service to hear Bob Shibley, the senior minister at that time, who was both a practicing Buddhist and an openly gay man. Both of these aspects were celebrated here. His messages that brought together personal stories, spiritual ideas, New York Times articles, and psychology were meaningful. And I would sometimes cry because I was a bit lost at sea in this big urban center in the 80s. In 1989, I brought my future husband, some of you may know, Charlie Burris, to the church one Sunday morning in December when they were having a Dixieland band for the whole service. And Charlie said, and I quote, "I could go to this church." So we continue to come most every Sunday, and that's the beginning of my story, coming to this church and then raising our children here. Speaking of raising children, my daughter, Claire Burris, is here this morning. She came in from Austin, and I'm so glad that you're here with us. So way back even before Claire was born, Charlie and I started playing music here early on. And later in 1996, I became the director of religious education for the first time with a wonderful colleague who shared the job with me, Chris Fair. One of the things I want to talk about this morning, though, is who else was here at the church at that time and what that meant to me when I was in my 20s. I want to talk about the church elders, those who were in their 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s. There were Thelma and Saul Meltzer. Thelma was a greeter, part of the welcome team, offering her warm smile. I can see her loving, round face and her big, flowery dresses. And she was involved in giving money and time to the newly budding row houses created by Rick Lowe, as well as to many other local organizations involving our neighbors in need and the arts. And when I was pregnant with my firstborn, even though neither Charlie or I knew Thelma well, she showed up one Sunday morning with a gift. It was a book written by her favorite OB-GYN about things new parents needed to know. And it was a very helpful book. She said she had noticed I was going to have a baby and wanted me to have this book. And after that, well, we felt part of the community. Her husband, Saul, grew herbs that he sold to high-end restaurants, and once a year, he brought 100 or more organic herbs in little pots for his famous herb sale that raised money for the church. And there were other role models, like Emily and Andrew Ladner. Emily was a poet. She co-wrote the hymn, "The Fabric of This Church," with our longtime organist, Bob Verzackerly. And for the last decade or so of her life, which is when I knew her, she would write silly, fun rhymes for people's birthdays and things like that. But when she died, I went to her memorial service, and some of her poems were shared, and I realized she wrote beautiful, deep, wonderful, well-crafted poetry, and I was wowed. And Emily's husband, Andrew, I wish all of you could have known him. He was another elder that I cherished. Imagine a small man with wispy hair wearing suspenders. And he often wore a button pinned to his suspenders that said, "Question authority." And as a 20-something looking at this white old man, I thought, well, if he isn't the authority, who is? Well, over time, we do learn, don't we? Some of the younger elders at this time were Ken and Sue Steinhardt, who are still part of our church. They are a couple that inspired a line in one of my songs about growing wise and knowing what to say when there's trouble. And there were Dina and Jean Stucker, who had multiple cycling adventures in Europe and the United States, continuing as they aged into their 60s. I was 20. We were inspired. And we have members of this congregation who marched at Selma, John Howard and our former minister, Bob Shibley. And I want to add that there are other people in my life beyond the church who've been wonderful role models. I am fortunate, very fortunate, to have loving parents who are watching by live stream this morning, who have provided role models for me as well. In so many ways, it's impossible to list here, but I will highlight this: great support since I was born, and a family filled with music. Watching elders in this community was important to me in my 20s and was such a gift. I looked around and I saw people leading simple, meaningful lives, quirky, loving people wearing buttons and giving books and baking pies and offering things at the auction, writing poems, marching, riding their bikes on long tours, and maybe mostly important, questioning authority. The kind of authority that squashes freedom, the kind of authority that pushes money to the top and fails everyday folks, the kind of authority that wants racism to come back in a rising wave and is selfish and doesn't have our best interest at heart. We are that community today, too, the kind that questions that kind of authority, that defunds science and doesn't want renewable energy that could save our planet, and just wants to line the pockets of the wealthy and powerful. Okay, I'm getting down off my soapbox. Not really. A community like this provides wonderful role models. Some may say that a small life focused around a small group, a church or a school or a little nonprofit, is embarrassingly unimportant. But I strongly disagree. The truth is that there are only a few people whose great works rise to be history writ large. Most of us humans live life affecting those around them in small but profound ways. I recommend that we pay attention to small heroes in our midst, to the elders who are living their lives and giving back to show us the way. They are our role models for service and a life well lived. So let's pretend that we have a glass right now. Come on. And let's give a toast to those in our lives, past or present, who have shown us a path forward in this painfully broken world. Hear, hear. And we must carefully choose our role models because, good grief, there are people who follow the Kardashians. Really. This is part of our culture, and the truth is, some of my role models are actually plants. Stay with me here, you heard me right. Plants are resilient and amazing, adaptable and intelligent. We could certainly do worse in choosing our role models. In the reading this morning by Zoe Schlanger, she says, and I agree, in this ruined global moment, plants offer a window into verdant way of thinking. For us to be truly part of this world, to be awake to its roiling aliveness, we need to understand plants. I love the idea of expanding our philosophy of life to add non-human role models. We are, after all, way too human-centric. Of course, we understand why we are and that it's hard to move beyond it. But I'm suggesting that it's possible to be awed by plants and to have them as our role models. It's an antidote to mainstream culture in many ways. Plants share nutrients inform their neighbors when trouble is coming, adjust to environmental conditions. Despite being in one place rooted, they have found many different ways to expand. And their seeds can survive by going dormant and for years and waiting until the right moment, a moment when there is enough sun and water and good soil to thrive. Besides role models, I want to talk about two other important gifts that I've gained from being part of this church community over these many years. One is about finding grounding, and the other is about engaging in spiritual practice. Since our larger culture has lots of toxic parts, like the focus on unattainable physical beauty, like a definition of success focused on material gain, and like the use of power and money over people. These are not values I share, I reject them. But when the culture around us fills the air and the soil with these messages, we cannot avoid them soaking into us at least a little bit. We need antidotes. We need good soil to grow in. We need to find the grounding that supports a soulful path. We need a place that provides messages of inclusion and hope, opportunities to give, relationships of support, deep conversations about the meaning of life. Our lives need meaning. Here's one very sad story of our times. A dear friend spends all their energy day in and day out, getting ready for work, commuting to work, putting in a full or longer day at work, commuting home, eating a frozen dinner, heated in the microwave, falling into bed and doing it all again. And let's add, just to make it worse, this dear friend works in a cubicle with no access to outdoor light and makes a barely livable wage, and that people in charge are getting wealthy off their back. It's a horrible existence, and while this story is a particularly bleak one, it is one that many of us can relate to in one way or another. If we need grounding and meaning to have a good life, we cannot allow this to be the story of our time. It is true that the powers that be have us in a vice grip. We need money to live, and we cannot control what jobs, most of us cannot control what jobs exist or what they pay. And if you're one of the people who can, please be nice and kind. But we can shift our way of thinking. We can refuse for our souls to be poisoned. And I am inspired by the words of our first reading by Tricia Hershey. Our bodies are not machines. We can resist. We can take back our dream space. We can search for truth and meaning alongside our friends at church or in small groups of friends anywhere, but we need it. No matter where the soil for our grounding can be found, it might be found in a drum circle or a knitting circle. It might be found in a group of friends that meets regularly to talk deeply about life. It might be found in getting together to play music or create art. So role models matter, grounding matters. And my last reflection this morning on things I've learned as part of being part of this beloved community is spiritual practice. There are many different spiritual practices, and I will mention a few that have really worked for me, that I have found important and useful. I came across a practice I love in a book of spiritual practices written by Unitarian Universalist ministers. I believe it was in the 90s, inviting attention and awareness while taking a walk. The walk could be in an urban neighborhood or in the woods or anywhere, really. The memory device is to remember 6 things that start with the letter S. So while I'm walking, I ask myself these 6 S questions. What do I see? See. I look up at the sky. What's in the sky? And when I stay for about 30 seconds or more, I almost always see a bird. And then feel your stance. This is a kind of way to feel your body as it's in relation to the way you're walking in the earth. Notice any smells. Pay attention to what you sense on your body, like the wind blowing on the hairs of your arms, or something you sense inside your body. And what sounds do you hear? What do you see? Look up at the sky, feel your stance, notice the smells, pay attention to what you sense on your body, what sounds do you hear? This provides attention to the world around us, awareness of ourselves as an animal on the earth. And to me, these are spiritual connections. When I return from the walk, I feel more grounded, more rooted, and connected. Another spiritual practice is living out our values and working with others to make the world a better place, whether caring for children, creating art to enhance an event, donating, going on to march or protest, providing deep listening to a friend. These are all part of the mosaic of changing the world to be a better place. And remember, no one needs to do it alone. No one can do it alone. Each small effort matters. Other spiritual practices, meditation, creative visualization, sitting in silence, paying attention to our breath. They can be done throughout the day. They slow down our heartbeat. We learned from Natalie Brown, one of our own, that memorizing poems is a great way to focus on the mind and feel spiritually focused. Our children have done this multiple times and shared the poem with you here in the sanctuary, like this Mary Oliver poem, Why I Wake Early, that some of you learned a couple of years ago, and say it with me if you wish to do so, if you remember it. Hello, sun on my face. Hello, you who made the morning and spread it over the fields and into the faces of the tulips and the nodding morning glories and into the windows of even the miserable and crotchety. Best preacher that ever was, dear star that just happens to be where you are in the universe, to keep us from ever darkness, to ease us with warm touching, to hold us in the great hands of light. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Watch now how I start the day in happiness, in kindness. Maybe you'll start to memorize poems on the walk while you're watching for all of these things. And now, I've lost my last page. No, here it is. And singing, of course, singing. Sing songs from the church, or sing any songs that have lyrics that hold up your belief, and sing songs like Spirit of Life, and sing it by yourself or with your family or with everyone like now. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. This morning I've held up the benefit of role models like elders and plants, and the importance of finding grounding and making the time for rest and spiritual care. And I hope you feel these gifts and find others that help you thrive. There have been more learnings for me in the 40 years, many more, but these three in particular have enriched my life tremendously. And I am grateful to this church, to you, my beloved friends and family and community. Thank you. Amen.
I invite you to open your hymnals to number 128. For all that is our life. Please rise in body or in spirit as we lift our voices together in song.
Please join me in reading the words to extinguish the chalice found in the order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Words from the benediction are by Anthony P. Johnson. Let us call on the Spirit that moves among us, below us, above us, and through us. Let us call upon those who have gone before us, who have shown us the way, who have been with us as guides and examples. Let us call upon ourselves to imagine, to hope, to dream, to do, that the future may build upon the past, but is not confined by the past, that the future we imagine will be a new thing.
May I suggest to you, may I suggest this is the best part of your life. May I suggest this time is blessed for you. This time is blessed and shining, almost blinding bright. Just turn your head and you'll begin to see the 1,000 reasons that were just beyond your sight. The reasons why I suggest to you, why I suggest this is the best part of your life. There is a word that's been addressed to you, intended only for your eyes. A secret word, like a treasure chest to you, of private scenes and brilliant dreams that mesmerize. A tender lover's smile, a tiny baby's hands, the million stars that fill the turning sky at night. Oh, I suggest to you, oh, I suggest this is the best part of your life. There is a hope that's been expressed in you, the hope of 7 generations, maybe more. This is the faith that they invest in you. It's that you'll do on better than was done before. Inside you know, inside you understand, inside you know what's yours to finally set right. And I suggest to you, and I suggest this is the best part of your life. This is a song, comes from the west to you, comes from the west, comes from the slowly setting sun. This is a song with a request of you to see how very short the endless days will run. And when they're gone, and when the dark descends, oh, we'd give anything for one more hour of light. And I suggest this is the best part of your life.
Thank you for joining us. We want to know who you are and would love to connect with you. Please fill out the link to the online attendance form, and if you are on YouTube, click like and subscribe. If you're interested in joining our congregation, email us at membership@firstuuhouston.org. Thanks so much.